Greetings, it's your buddy, your pal, your friend, your teacher, your guide, your light in the dark, the uncle you never had, maybe sometimes the father you never had, ABW. And I want to talk briefly. I don't know how briefly. I want to just rap a tad with you about judging a tree by its fruits. A big conversation. I'm just gonna get right into it. Matters of love, matters of relationship, female, male dynamics are a big topic in the world, and it is a preoccupation of our lives. I understand that, and I have to approach that with a bit of delicacy and grace because I've been blessed and been fortunate to have my way in relationships. Now, that's not to say that everything's been perfect in any type of relationship I've ever had or in my marriage. But man, you know what? When it comes to relationships, the reason why I feel like I can even speak on it is because it's just something that's just natural to me. Um, I have very healthy relationships in all across the board. I have healthy relationships with my parents. I have healthy relationships with my kids. I have healthy relationships with my cousins, with my siblings. I have healthy relationships with my friends. I have healthy relationships with I've had healthy relationships with every single romantic encounter I've ever had. And yes, I have a healthy relationship with my wife. So, with that premise, and if you were to inbox me, I'm private. You can't just be open about on these internet ways. But if you were to inbox me, I could show you receipts. I could maybe point you in certain directions to show you. I'm not just saying that. I have healthy relationships with my loved ones all across the board. So that's the premise of you judge a tree by its fruit. Anybody can get on these airwaves or these internet waves and say whatever, present whatever. And I understand my limitations. I understand that I may not be entertaining as someone else who can say things and present things and make it a lot more glossy, a lot more entertaining than maybe I can. I understand that. Full transparency, I actually have a speech impediment. For me to even be talking is a blessing, because I as a kid, as a child, I stuttered. I had to take speech therapy, mumbled. Speech wasn't something that just comes elegantly to me. And it's kind of ironic because um, as I got older, that was a part of my game. I'm a good looking dude. I say that humbly, but I know that if you get told that you're good looking so many times, you just have to start to believe it, right? Hey, I look good, whatever. Hey, I don't see myself the way people see me. I can say that. I'll say that. I don't see when I look in the mirror, I'm happy with who I see, with what I see. But I genuinely don't just, I have a level of vanity to where I want to look presentable, but I'm not a pretty boy. If somebody calls me a pretty boy, I don't like that because I don't look at myself like that. I don't spend a whole lot of time on my looks. For one thing, um, whatever I've been blessed with, I've been fortunate to be blessed with. And I'm saying that to say that a part of my game was my conversation. I'm a well-read person. I've always been a nerd. I've always been an introvert, so um, I can make conversation. Now, my words might not be as eloquent, but the point that I'm trying to get across, and that's the power. That's the power of going outside. It's a gift. It's a talent that people have speaking on a microphone. You know, uh, and being entertaining and being captivating. I'm still working on it. I feel like I'm still working on that. Sometimes I listen to my own recordings. I'm like, man, I'm babbling. I'm kind of cringy, but I'm just gonna continue because I get enough positive feedback and reinforcement to know I'm doing, and my message is getting across to someone. People understand what I'm saying, and so that's why I continue to push forward and do this. But I understand I'm not as eloquent as I could be. But what I'm saying is that there's a totally different dynamic, and I feel confident in if me and you, if I was trying to communicate something for comprehension to someone, and that's what communication. That's the missing key to communication. Just as an aside, the missing key to communication is comprehension. People miss that. It's not about just communicating. Communicating is just putting forth words, right? Comprehension is the goal to speak to be understood. And so if I'm conversing with someone for comprehension in person, I'm confident. I'm pretty confident in my ability to either persuade or reinforce a message. My ability to endear myself to someone. I'm confident in that. And in matters of relationships, I'm confident that I can, you know, given the right opportunity, I can, so quote unquote, game up any female. I, I've been in enough scenarios and situations to where that just comes natural to me. As long as my I got the prerequisites of looking. I'm not ugly. Again, I say that humbly because I just don't look at myself like some, because I'm a purveyor and I'm a connoisseur of people, and so I love the aesthetics. I love aesthetics. I appreciate aesthetics. So I love beautiful women. I love looking at beautiful women without having to touch me. As a married man, I don't need to go far beyond. I don't need to go beyond just, hey, she's attractive. She's got this quality. She got curly hair. I like that. Da, 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 da. And that's it. Just as you would observe and acknowledge some art, because I look at people as art, and there is not no judgment to the LGBT whatever community. I actually have very close loved ones who are part of that community. I can appreciate a man who's like, man, I can understand it. The prerequisite or the go-to phrase for a man, because whether a man admits it or not, you recognize beauty or good aesthetics in another man. That's why a man don't even understand why he hates on another man, because he knows he gets bitches. But that's the go-to phrase. Oh, I know that nigga get hoes. I just say, yeah, he's a handsome dude, and I could say that and not feel no type of way. Never would I ever want to try to pursue a man. I'm not gay. I'm not homosexual, and I don't have to put that disclaimer out there. I'm just saying that to make a point. But I can recognize the aesthetics of someone else, and why I'm saying that is that when it comes to recognizing another human being for their good qualities, you should be able to do that and and not have their good qualities take away from your own good qualities. You know, not be able to, and not be a hater. And for lack of a better term, I never liked that term hater. Everybody wants to talk about the haters. That's I'm gonna make another video if I haven't already made it. I'm gonna make another video about overused terms. And I might talk about the haters, overused terms and concepts. Haters, and nobody's hating on you. And if they do, then whatever. But anyway, you judge a tree by its fruit, and so my point is there are lots of people who get on YouTube, get on these platforms, and they're able to make a compelling point to their argument because they're able to be compelling, they're able to be entertaining, but their opinion is flawed. Everybody has opinion. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but the overall message can be flawed. The overall premise can be flawed, and then you have to understand the source, where it's coming from. You judge a tree by its fruit. So when I see guys who are talking about men who are married and putting a label and a judgment on them, calling them suckers, calling them, whatever, in a way to denigrate them and downgrade them, that doesn't upset me, for one thing, because I'm secure and I know who I am and I know what I have. And I go back and I judge a tree by its fruit. So when I see a man who is not married, who has fractured relationships, and not to place any blame, you could be that person who everybody in your life, so-called, is toxic. But I'm a person, I just can't live any other way but self-accountability. What am I doing to contribute or not help that toxic relationship? Self-accountability. I never look at someone else and point the finger at them. I always look at, maybe, what am I doing wrong? What have I done wrong? What am I missing to where they would relate to me in that way? Self-accountability. And I guarantee you, if more of us were more self-accountable, the fruits of our tree would be would blossom way more. I look at people who have the opinions, and I look at their fruits, and then it makes me understand that the tree has many branches. Ideally, every single one of those branches should be fruitful. Rarely do you see a healthy tree with one branch that has fruit. So that's what you see. That's what you present. That's what is presented a lot of times on these YouTube and platforms. You see a person who may very well be thriving in one aspect, in one area. A lot of times that may have to do with views and money. But that's just one aspect. And don't let that go over your head. Don't miss that. Don't let that deter you. I know money is very, very, very important. Money answers everything. That's what the Bible says. But that's just one part of fruit. There's money is still a tool. So when you see someone who has money and status, views, but then they have fractured relationships, they have they have character flaws that are very glaring. You judge a tree by its fruit. Is that what you want? Is that the trade-off that you want? You know, when I see someone who is a self-proclaimed, or even a real live pimp, and that's the thing that I never uh, that never thinking long term never appealed to me. Very rarely have you seen a pimp with a positive nuclear structure of a family. Having children all over the place just never appealed to me. Having children that I can't see just never appealed to me. I'm sorry, and that's not to cast any judgment, because I know everybody has different circumstances. But it's just something to consider. You judge a tree by its fruit. It's just something to consider. And really the message is, I'll always say this: run your own race. Deal with what deal with your world. You can't change the world, but you can change your world. For me to have a for me and this is for me, I take pride in having fruitful relationships, non-toxic. I take pride in that. That means something to me. So when I speak about, therefore, when I speak about relationships, I feel confident in, I don't make myself an authority. Far be it from me. I don't make myself an authority. I'm just, I just feel compelled to share my experiences, my knowledge, and this goes with anybody. In any case, you take the good, discard the bad. You accept the wheat, you discard the chaff. The wheat from the tare. Whatever applies to you, take that in, absorb it. Whatever doesn't apply, let that pass. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But it's it's something that is way more compelling, and is way more substantial when a person is saying something and is giving advice, or sharing something beneficial, or sharing a message, and then you see that they actually have some fruit bearing experiences and situations to back it up. You judge a tree by its fruit. So when you see when you see someone who is giving an opinion on married men, and then you see that they are single, they don't have they have a revolving door of toxic relationships with women, they're forever being disgruntled with women, you have to consider that. You judge a tree by its fruit. And consider if that's what you want. If you see an old man that's so-called giving game, but then there are old lonely men, and all they have is money, but they don't have the character to actually deal with a certain caliber of woman. You judge a tree by its fruit. And so that's what all I want to say. That I hope that stuck with someone. Judge a tree by its fruit, and judge a tree by its entire branches, all of its branches. Don't look at the one maybe pruned branch that's the showcase, and then look at the rest of the tree, and everything else is decaying and dying, which will eventually get to the rest of the tree altogether. It's a metaphor, but it's a parallel. So it's definitely a great parallel. The Bible says you judge a tree by its fruit. So take all those things into consideration when you're taking heed to a message of someone, and me included. That doesn't exclude me at all. But I just try to, I won't confidently speak on something that I don't know about. So this is just a little uncle talk for you. It's your buddy, your pal, your friend, your teacher, your guide, ABW. Like, share, subscribe, do all that. I appreciate it. I really do. Take care. Sayonara. Signing out.